Good morning to my subscribers in the Philippines. Good evening to my subscribers in America and beyond. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. I would never take that for granted. Thank you for watching my videos. This little channel is growing. I never get rich in money doing this, but I enjoy it. It gives me something to do, and I know I'm being helpful, just based on the comments and, the emails that I get. So thank you all for that. My 11 years here doesn't make me an expert, okay? There's no such thing as an expert on the Philippines. It's too vast, it's too diverse. But what I believe is that it gives me a unique perspective. And I want to use that to help the newbie. That's the new man and woman who's never been here before, who's contemplating on coming here, either for a slow vacation or maybe to retire, okay? Just to make their transition smoother, just to help them avoid a lot of the mistakes that I made when I first got here. Because I tell you all the time, there's a handbook on the Philippines, how to come over here, how to thrive, how to be successful, but I didn't read it. I just jumped on the plane and came over here, and man, I get my head split open, mistake after mistake after mistake, so I'm here to give you my secrets to be successful over here, and they're really not secrets. They're just my mistakes that I made, so that's the information, that the information I give you, because when you come over here, I don't want you to be a tourist. I'm gonna take you from the tourist class and move you to the first class. That's what I like to say now, but I received a comment that asked me, do I drive over here? What kind of car do I have, or what kind of motorcycle do I have? And I had to laugh at that, because I don't drive over here. That's an emphatic no, and I'm gonna put this disclaimer out here. The people who watch this channel, you're old enough and you're wise enough and capable enough to make your own decisions. But the question was posed to me, do I drive over here? So I'm gonna tell you. So I'm not discouraging you. If you want to come over here and buy a car or a motorcycle, do it. You're old enough, you're mature enough to make that decision. But no matter what you hear about the Philippines, the violence, the Abu Sayyaf, the rebels, the NPA and all of that, the most dangerous place in the Philippines is on the road, either behind the wheel or you being a passenger, okay? Or even a pedestrian, all right? It's dangerous over here. I mean, I could give you some WHO statistics and all of that, but it's really not going to make a difference, because people are still going to get behind the wheel over here. I'm just going to tell you why I don't do it, because remember I told you, I'm boots on the ground. I'm right in the middle of all this, man. I'm not on the edges. I'm not up in some fancy tower looking down, give you a play-by-play. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, what I'm living, okay? I call that the nitty-gritty. I'll never sugarcoat this information, because it's not going to do you any good, okay? But when it comes to driving over here, it's a big no-no for me. Number one, if you ever in an accident as a foreigner, you're responsible. It's your fault, period, okay? So remember that. File that away. When I first came here in 2009, and I was in Cebu City, one of the scariest things I've ever experienced was just crossing the street here. I mean, really, it's difficult. And it takes some planning just to get across the street. So, and if you're in Manila, Cebu, one of these places, Zamboanga, Davao, these big places, Iloilo City, you know what I'm talking about. You know that I'm telling the truth. The crosswalk means absolutely nothing here. It's a waste of paint, really. It's what I like to say. You step out in that thing at the wrong time, they're going to run you over. This is a fact right here. I will throw this out there. On average, 2 kids are killed every day on the road in Manila. Run over, crossing the street, jaywalking over here, because like I said, they don't use the crosswalk. They'll just cross from anywhere. And the way these drivers drive over here, the pattern, the traffic pattern when you first get over here and you first see it, it's going to resemble like a bowl of spaghetti. You know, one of the things that they say that contribute to the to the many deaths and injuries over here on the road is people are driving under influence. When you see how the people drive over here compared to in America, and I keep it on America because I've never lived in Europe, I've visited there, you're going to think everybody's drunk. You're going to be like, man, you know, there's no, 11 years I've never seen a four-way stop here, four-way stop sign. So when you get into the intersection, man, everybody's just all in the intersection. You're going around everybody. You know, people over here are some excellent drivers, in my opinion, because there should be more accidents. There should be more deaths. They drive with ESP over here, extra sensory perception, because there's no stop signs, man. There's hardly any stoplights and stuff in these little places. But somehow, some way, they're able to avoid, you know, what I would consider, man, certain death a lot of times, you know, because they be speeding. They're not just riding around here, you know, doing 5-10 miles an hour. You know, they love to speed. So, no, I don't drive over here. You know, and I'm going to give you the nitty gritty. I'm going to tell you why. You can look up in WHO statistics all you want. It don't mean anything. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing on the ground. And here's what I'm seeing. Dilapidated vehicles everywhere on the road. When you decide that you want to go somewhere and you get on the series liner, you're putting your life in the hands of that driver because the tires look like pancakes. They're slick. You know, in America, there's a 1/16 of an inch thread that makes the tire legal. Over here, they throw that out the window. The brakes, okay, the turn signals, the speedometer. A lot of times none of that works, okay? And you see it all the time. I'm not criticizing, I'm telling you what I see, what I'm reading in the paper. You know, a lot of times, you know, it happens on the weekends when the buses, this is pre-pandemic, because over here, they cram the buses. I mean, just completely, I'm talking to you can't get not one more baby on board. Okay, you understand? Because that's how the driver and the conductor are paid, you know, on a commission. Now, they're in the process of changing that to give them a salary to stop some of that. I mean, the aisles are full. If there is a fire, if there is an accident, you wouldn't be able to get off the bus, man. So if you're claustrophobic, you may need to rethink your plan and take another mode of transportation, like, you know, a ship or fast craft or a plane, because these boats, I mean, these buses, they're going to fill them to capacity. I mean, there's no, so they're coming back, you know, because a lot of them, you know, a lot of the people from the province work in the city. You know, on weekends they come home. And of course, with all that added weight on there, the brakes is already bad, the tires is already bad, the driver's already speeding. It's an accident waiting to happen. It happens all the time. And you see, you know, they go off the cliff or they crash with another driver. And the drivers, these bus drivers, you know, they don't get any sleep. I don't know how they're paid. They don't get any sleep, so they're just making trip back and forth. They go to sleep at the wheel. You name it, and it happens, man. On the road over here is dangerous. So I'm not discouraging you from driving over here, because depending on where you live, if you live in a province somewhere, you may need transportation like that. But if you're going to buy a car, if you're going to buy a motorcycle, I get a local to drive it. I hire a local to drive it, or maybe your girlfriend or your wife, because behind the wheel, man, you know, I see a lot of Europeans doing it, but I don't see really a lot of Americans, you know, because the traffic in America is, for the most part, it's organized. The laws are very strict. You know, we're programmed. We'll stop at a stoplight at 2 in the morning when nobody else is around, no police is around, no other drivers around. We will stop. It's in our mind to stop at that stoplight at 2 in the morning and nobody else around. But over here, see, it's a lot of undisciplined, you know, it's a lot of undisciplined drivers. People are in such a hurry, and I don't know where they're going, okay? But they're in a hurry over here. And it can cost you your life, and it can cost you your life quick. Another thing that I see besides the dilapidated cars, it's a lot of new cars here now. It's a lot of new drivers, a lot of new motorcycles. Because pre-pandemic, you know, the Philippines had one of the fastest growing economies in Asia, maybe even the world. Now, how did that translate? I'm not an economist into helping the poverty and stuff like that. I don't know. But it damn sure put a lot more cars and a lot more motorcycles on the road. So you got all these new drivers who's never driven before. Okay. That's one thing. Then 60-70% of the drivers on the road, maybe higher, they're unlicensed. Why? Because it's too expensive. To get a license over here, it's 3,700 pesos. That's almost a whole month's pay for some people over here. So they'll just drive without a license, okay? And they'll get away with it, you know, because the traffic enforcer or the police, they know the people. See, that's what I like about the Philippines. It's like everybody knows each other. They understand where they're coming from. Like, man, I ain't got my license, man, because they know you can't afford it, okay? So if they don't have their license, they're not going to have insurance. So even if it is their fault, you don't have anything coming, you're still going to have to come out of your pocket. You're still going to have to pay to get your car repaired, even if you're not at fault. But you're going to be at fault over here. And good luck getting money from the insurance. I had a friend in Cebu, had a new Prelude, Honda Prelude, when they brought those back out. He got hit, okay? It was his fault, even though it wasn't his fault. And man, it took him forever to get the money from his insurance company. Okay? So that's just my spiel on it. That's just the nitty gritty, man. You know, when you get over here, man, this isn't Kansas. You're not in Kansas anymore. Okay? Don't just come over here and jump behind the wheel of a car and think you're going to go somewhere. Just recently, I'll tell you this and I'll go. Pre-pandemic, right before the pandemic, a little young guy from America was over here. He was in Surigao. That's a big tourist place for surfers and stuff in Mindanao. Beautiful place. He rented, you know, a motor scooter. We call them scooters. They call them motorcycles over here. And he ran into a tree late at night, ran into a tree, killed himself. The locals said he was drunk. His family said the motorcycle was defective. Okay, but that happens all the time over here. But not only that, see, here's what happened. This is the coldness, and it just shows you the difference in culture. Okay, the little boy dies. Don't you know the people that he rented the motorcycle from, they sent a bill to the mother for the motorcycle that he damaged during his accident. It was so much outrage that they didn't have to pay it. But that's what they did. So it's up to you, man. I'm not going to discourage you. You're old enough, obviously, you've been living this long to make your own decisions. But he asked me, did I drive? Did I have a car? No. So thanks for watching this video. I just want to be helpful, man. If I come off as a know-it-all, I'm missing the mark. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help you, make your trip smoother, avoid a lot of the pitfalls, a lot of the mistakes that I made when I got here. I want to be your handbook, so to speak. So when you get off the plane in Cebu or Manila, you're going to hit the ground running. You're going to know what to expect. It's going to make your trip a lot more enjoyable. I don't care if you're over here for 2 weeks or over here for 2 years, okay? Thank you so much. I want to give you some good news. Everybody knows that I have and if you don't know, I have a Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page that I created specifically to give away 1,000 pesos every week to help the local Filipino during the pandemic, because a lot of them is out of work. If you think the pandemic did a whammy on your country, imagine what it did over here. No work, no pay. And one of my subscribers stepped up and matched my 1,000 pesos, so now we're able to give away 2 1,000 peso winners every week. Thanks to him, he knows who he is. I couldn't let that go without announcing that, because it's big. It's big. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you haven't helped anybody, please help somebody today, because what I know, without a doubt, when we help other people, we help ourselves. Thank you. Take care.